Building a house sounds exciting, and it is, but if I'm being honest, it can also be one of the most stressful things you'll ever do, especially if you don't plan properly. I learned this the hard way while building my own house. As you can all see, the house is not complete. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the most important things you should consider before and during construction, based on my real experience, so you don't make the same mistakes I did. So let's dive into it. First thing, I want to talk about the land itself. Before you even think about building, you need to understand your land. Is your land flat? Is it sloped? Is it rocky, or is it swampy? For example, if your land is sloped, you might need extra excavation or a special foundation design, which increases your cost. In my case, my land was slopy, so that's why I decided to raise the foundation, because my land is down a hill. So that was my case. And so you need to take your time, study the land, especially during rainy season if it's possible. Next thing you need to consider is type of soil. This is something many people ignore, but it's critical. Different soil types affect how strong your foundation will be. For instance, clay soil expands when wet and shrinks when dry, which can cause cracks in your house. Sandy soil drains well, but not being strong enough to support heavy structure without reinforcement. And then we have this black cotton soil. It's a mess, and it's even stressful to deal with it. So a proper soil test might cost you some money up front, but it can save you thousands later. Now let's talk about the foundation. Your foundation is literally what holds your entire house. If you get this wrong, everything else is at risk. Depending on your soil type, your foundation might need a deeper or reinforced with more concrete and steel. I've seen people try to cut costs here, and they end up paying more when cracks start appearing. That is affecting me, because I'll talk about it, and I've talked about it. I have some cracks appearing on my foundation, and this is not a praise you don't compromise. This one praise you don't compromise. And another major factor is your house design. And I'm not just talking about how it looks, but how it functions. Think about your lifestyle. Do you want an open kitchen or a closed kitchen? Do you need any extra storage? Will your family grow in future? I realized later that some spaces in my house could have been designed better for comfort and convenience. So don't just copy design, customize them to fit your life. If you see a design somewhere, online or anywhere, take that design, customize it, and then make it to fit the life that you want. Another thing you need to consider is materials. This is where many people get confused. You have options like natural stones. We have these machine cut stone. We have building blocks, and we have precast precast panels, and each has its pros and cons. So make sure you know all the advantages or all the disadvantages of the materials that you want to use. For example, stone is strong and durable, but can be expensive. We have blocks, can be cheaper and faster to build with. And then we have precast, can save you time, but requires proper planning. What I learned is cheap materials can become expensive in the long run if they compromise quality. So make sure you have quality materials. So balance cost with durability. Remember, you don't want to get back into house in a month or two or a year. So balance cost with durability. Now let's talk about lighting and ventilation. This is something people underestimate until they start living in the house. A well-lit and well-ventilated house feels bigger, it feels fresher and more comfortable. Think about window placement. Where does the sun rise and set? Do you want the sun to be in your house or to set? Do you want to bask in the sun when you are inside the house or outside? Where does the wind come from? In my experience, poor ventilation can make a house feel hot and stuffy, especially in warm climates. So plan for natural light and airflow as much as possible. Next thing to consider is the roofing. There are different styles of roofing, like pitched roofs. Most of the people go for pitched roofs, and I've seen now the design that most people are going for is hidden and flat roofs. And we have like skillion. For me, I went for skillion roof, and it suits me very well. And a pitched roof is more traditional and helps with water drainage. A hidden roof looks modern but requires proper drainage system to avoid water pooling. If your contractor messes with your flat roof, my friend, or your hidden roof, you will cry. So choosing the wrong roofing system without proper planning can lead to leaks and maintenance issue. Is you don't want to deal with that. So don't just choose based on looks, consider functionality. The functionality of the roof, just consider it. Remember, you're not living in your roof. The beauty of your house will be inside, what you are seeing every day. You don't see your roof. Even I don't know how many people tend to see their roof unless it has a problem, it's leaking or something like that. So another thing you need to consider is finishes. The finishes that you want to do in your house. There is where your house really comes to life. We all know finishes make your house come to life, from flooring to wall finishes to ceiling. We have paintwork, but finishes can also eat up a huge part of your budget. For example, tiles come in different qualities, sizes, and prices. Paint finish can be simple or premium. Ceiling designs can be basic or detailed. We have even the gypsum nowadays. So what I learned is you don't have to go expensive everywhere. Choose where to spend and where to save. I repeat, you don't have to be expensive. Choose where you want to spend in your finishes and where you want to save when you are doing your finishes. Another thing you need to plan better is utilities. That is water, electricity, drainage, internet, all that utilities, your utilities that you need in your house. Make sure everything is properly planned before construction begins. Changing these things later is not only expensive, it's frustrating. Imagine not having internet and you work from home. In my case, where I'm building, there is no internet. It's up country, ni ndani kabisa, there is no internet, so I had to make sure I have internet. That's why I went for Starlink, because I work from home. So make sure you have your utilities right and you know where you can get them from. Another thing I want to talk is budget. This is where reality hits. No matter how much you plan, there will always be unexpected cost. Materials go up in price, labor cost change, something breaks, something needs adjustment. Always have a contingency budget, at least 10 to 20% extra. And trust me, that might sound like it's a bit too excessive, but you will need it. Also think about future expansion. If you are building a small house now, plan for tomorrow. Maybe you will want to add another floor or extend the house. If you don't plan for this early, it becomes very difficult later. For me, my house design, I've planned for expansion later. I know my balls will be bigger later, so there is room for expansion. So you need to plan about that. So another important factor is labor and supervision. The people building your house matter just as much as the materials. Good fundis can save you money and stress. Poor workmanship can ruin everything. The best materials and all that. If possible, supervise the work regularly yourself or hire someone you trust to do it. You either supervise it or hire someone. Fundis can show you shege, let me tell you. Fundis can show you shege. And finally, drainage and flooding. This is something many people ignore until it's too late. Where does the rainwater go? For me, I had an issue with flooding in the compound because, as I'm saying, my land is slopey. I did not consider that. Does your plot flood? As I said, mine was flooding on one side. It's not even flooding, it was an overflow. Kwa maji inatoka kwa mlima, it was overflowing through my compound. So do you have your drainage systems? Make sure install your drainage system. And because I've seen houses become unlivable simply because water management was not considered. You see, even in Ushago and in cities, when there is a lot of rain, you see some people are flooding in their houses. Maji inaanza kuingia ndani, so consider your draining system. But building a house is not just about money. It's about planning, patience, and making informed decision. If you could go back, make the right decision. For me, everything is just fine. I'm just taking my time because every mistake during construction costs you more later, and I don't want mistakes. So everything is a step by step move on your own motion. Just don't rush anything. So if you're planning to build, I hope this video helps you avoid some of the mistakes I made. And if you have already started building, let me know your experience in the comments, and I would love to hear what you have learned along the way. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.